Greetings, everyone. This is the alternative guy, back here again with another video. This video is very important. We have so much debate about who came to America first. We still got this old narrative about Columbus discovering America. But today, we're gonna show you some key and vital information, pictures of who actually was in America first. Before we get started, I would like for you guys to hit the thumbs up button because we want to get this information out. Before we get started, of showing you some pictures, I'm going to show you a few books that I got this information from. And this book is called Unexpected Faces in Ancient America. And it's by Dr. Alexander von Bodenau. I hope I'm saying that right. But here's another one of his books, The Art of Terracotta Pottery, Pre-Columbian, Central and South America. These are terracottas that he found. And I have another one about the same topic. These books were, as you can see, they're pretty old. Got these from the library in my local area. This is another book that I want you guys to check out. Black People are Indigenous to the Americas, research material for the inquisitive. This is by Kimberly Norton. And then I have another book. This book is The Only Man They Knew. And this book is by J. Lynch Wright Jr. And I have more books, but I just want to deal with these 4 books today. I have covered this topic before somewhat in another video that I did with talking about I covered this information kind of briefly in another video I did with talking about Fort Christiana. And if you would like, you can check that video out on my channel also. So today, before I show you the pictures, I'm going to share a video with you that another brother did on Dr. von Bodenau. And I want you to check that out, and then I'm going to show you the pictures, some pictures of who was in America first, and this will dispel that whole idea about Columbus, and it'll go into like the whole history of was here first. So hold tight.
Alexander von Wutenau and the multi-ethnic heritage of Mexico. Many people believe that the Mexican people are a homogeneous group of people who are American Indians. Although this is our belief, we know from the research of Dr. Alexander von Wutenau that this is not the case. Dr. von Wutenau came to the United States over 70 years ago. He came to the United States of the Americas as a diplomat. He was a diplomat for the Republic of Germany for many years. Dr. von Wutenau, when he came to the United States, he was struck by the multi-ethnic character of the contemporary country. But what proved to be most striking to Dr. von Wutenau when he moved to Mexico was that Mexico had a multi-ethnic heritage. Dr. von Wutenau was able to discover that the Mexican people was not a homogeneous group of Indians. He discovered that many different groups of people lived in the Americas. And he went about telling the world about this. In 1970, he made a very important poster. In this poster, the Humanitas Americas Mexico in 1970, he was able, in a sense, to show many of the artifacts that he had collected over the years while living in Mexico that showed the multi ethnic heritage of the ancient American people. Dr. von Wutenau wrote a very important book, and this book was called Pre-Columbian Terracottas. In Pre-Columbian Terracottas, Dr. von Wutenau was able to demonstrate to the world the multi-ethnic heritage of the Mexican people by showing these terracottas. What makes these terracottas so important and make them very interesting is that many of these terracottas are very small. In fact, they can be held in the hand. And although they can be held in the hand, these terracottas show that they were not Indians, but they were Africans. They were Semitic people. They were whites. Von Wutenau was able, in a sense, to write a new history of Mexico, a pictorial history of Mexico, which indicates that the Mexicans were not a homogeneous group, that many people came to the ancient world. Back in during this period, Dr. von Wutenau decided to extend this research further. What Dr. von Wutenau did is that he went to travel throughout many places in the old world, in Africa, to try to determine where these people may have came from. He went to Africa, including a visit to Egypt, and he eventually led to writing his most important book, the most important book that relates to the ancient Mexicans. And this book was called Unexpected Faces in Ancient America. In Unexpected Faces in Ancient America, Dr. von Wutenau was able, in a sense, to show that there were many different types of people who lived in Mexico. He showed that there were Africans, Semitic people. He's especially interested in the Semitic people because of the fact that the Semitic people often wore beards. And we find many bearded people in Unexpected Faces in Ancient America. He also showed those beautiful terracotta heads, these heads that are very tiny, small. They can fit between the fingers of the hand, and yet they are so graphic in illustrating the multi-ethnic character of the Americas. Over the years, Dr. von Wutenau, who published Unexpected Faces in Ancient America, became aware of even new researches that related to the various peoples who lived in the Americas. He therefore published his own edition of Unexpected Faces in Ancient America, which that it went out of print. In this edition of Unexpected Faces in Ancient America, Dr. von Wutenau began to really, in a sense, illustrate and outline more in more detail his ideas about the ancient people who lived in the Americas. In his second edition of the book, which was published in 1980, Dr. von Wutenau was able, in a sense, to explore even new avenues which showed a relationship between the various people of Mexico and the old world. He was especially competent in his discussion of the various skeletal remains that indicated an old world origin for many Mexicans. And he became excited about the research of a young scholar back in the 1970s named Clyde Winters. He was excited about the research of Clyde Winters because Clyde Winters had recently published an article in 1979 in the Journal of African Civilization, where he deciphered the Olmec writing. Dr. Woodnall found this exciting, and as a result of the research of Dr. Winters, he made the first wide distribution of Dr. Winters' research in his book, Unexpected Faces in Ancient America, the second and third edition. In this book, he also had a very beautiful poster. And this poster was very beautiful because in this poster, he had the head or the statue of the ancient Kushite ruler Taharka. And what he did is that he surrounded this statue of Taharka with many of the giant heads that were found in Mexico. He showed how these Olmec heads had many of the helmets or helmet style which was similar to the various Kushite and other peoples of Africa. In 1980, as a result of his meeting Dr. Winters, Dr. Winters and Dr. Van Woodnall went on a tour, a lecture tour, in 1980, and they traveled to many places in the United States talking about the fact that many of the Olmecs were of African origin, and he allowed Dr. Winters to discuss his decipherment of the Olmec script. Given the various studies of Dr. Van Woodnall and his seminal work, Unexpected Faces in Ancient America, we now know more about the multi-ethnic character of the ancient Mexicans. Dr. Van Woodnall is a true scholar, a great man, and it was through the research of Dr. Van Woodnall that we know that ancient Mexico was a cosmopolitan civilization. It was not a place where only one group lived. It was a place where many people came to study, to live, and to work. And we owe much to our understanding about the multi-ethnic heritage of Mexico through the great research of Dr. Alexander Van Woodnall.
Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you some pictures of some places in ancient America. So just wanted to share that video with you guys. Now we're going to go into, okay, so we see unexpected places in ancient America from 1500 BC to 1500 AD. So that's a long time. Okay, so you might have seen this one in the book before. Okay. These ones here, these are the ones that's dealing basically with the Olmec. This one says the Olmec Monument F from these were found in Veracruz. This is another Olmec. These are more or what they call Negro features. And you can see the Chinese features in these. Yeah, these are some unusual pictures here. Very unusual. What does this guy look like? What does that look like to you? Well, to me, it looked like Lil Wayne. So, what do you guys think? This is a culmination of Negroid and Chinese features, or Asian features. Now, this one has a little, some Caucasian features. But this one right here, this is the last one I'm going to show you, but the book have many more. But I just wanted to show you pictures of ancient America. Okay, so what do you think? I think that we need to just continue to dig and to continue to put the pieces of the puzzle together because nobody's going to do it for us. We got to get out of the fantasy, make believe world that we've been given. We have to understand what mythology is all about. Study mythology, and then you'll see that the majority of the things that we're dealing with in this world, as far as from a historical standpoint, is mythological and allegorical language. We need to understand that. That's what we need to understand. We got to get in touch with real history. And I'm going to share something with you that I know I'll probably get a lot of flack from this, but the Bible is not real history. The Bible is biblical history. And once we get to the point where we can see that, then that's when we're going to eliminate a lot of the problems that we're having. If mankind could only come to the level of thinking where we stop putting labels on everything. As long as we're putting labels, as long as we're saying that he's a Muslim, he's a Christian, he's a Hebrew, he's a Jehovah's Witness, as long as we're putting labels on us, then we're going to continue to fight as humans. That's the problem, the labels. And if you think about it, you think about politicians. Why do we need politicians? Politicians to speak for us. You know, you have Democrats, you have Republicans, you have Libertarians. Why do you have to have a label? As long as we As long as we don't realize, well, as long as we think that we have to have a label, then we're going to continue to be fighting and bickering. I mean, we can look at the wars, all of the wars that fought, all of the wars that's been fought has been fought over labels and land and ownership. And if you think about it, the indigenous American Indians, they knew that they couldn't own land. They knew that. Because how can you own something that you didn't create? The only thing that you can own is something that you make with your hands. Then you can own that, but you can't make the land. And that's the problem. That's this whole American, the whole American saga is about ownership and land. I'm digressing, so I'm going to leave that alone for right now. Now we're going to deal with the kind of bring it to the United States because that's where we live, and we wanted to kind of cover that area. So this book here is dealing with the Americas in the area where we are. So I'm going to give you a description of what Kimberly Norton said about what the okay, so this book here, we're gonna deal with some a description of how the some of the European explorers, how they describe how the people that they met when they first got here. Okay. Okay, in Kimberly Norton's book, she described, uh, this is a summary of the objective list in this book to describe the complexions of the Native Americans. And it says, black, black swat, blacker than other tribes, brown, brown yellow, brown red, browner color, brunette, chestnut color, cinnamon color, copper cast, copper colored skin, copper complexion, coppery complexion, dark, dark bronze color, dark brown hue, dark color, dark complexion, dark copper color, dark of complexion, dark skinned, darker than copper, deep brunette, deep chestnut, dingy brown, dirty copper colored, dirty dark red, dull brown, hazel complexion, light copper color, lighter copper color, orange tawny, pale yellow, reddish brown, swarthy, tawny, tawny red color. So these are the description of what the Europeans, of the people that the Europeans encountered when they first got here. So all of the debate about, we look around and we see on a lot of these reservations now, we have a lot of these European uh, so-called Indians that were tied in with the $5 Indian. And I know a lot of us, I don't know whether we are aware of the $5 Indian, but we did another video, myself and a historian friend of mine, we did another video on that subject. It was called the Black Indigenous Indians. If you look on my channel, you'll see that video, but we covered that. But I just wanted to, in this video, I just wanted to cover and share with you some uh, reference information, because there's a big debate going on now about who was here first, and we all came from Africa. And we have to understand that we have been given a history by somebody else, and these people didn't have our best interests. So now what we got to do is we got to put this puzzle together for ourselves and make sense out of this whole thing. Because if we don't do it ourselves, nobody else is going to do it. So I just wanted to share some information with you guys so that you can do your research yourself. And from my perspective, watching other individual videos all the time and just going on what they say, and then you don't try to find the same books, or you don't want to do the digging yourself, then you're doing yourself an injustice, because once you start doing the research yourself, then you can put the puzzle together, and you might can add something to what somebody else has said in their videos. But if somebody is giving you a lot of emotions and they're not sharing with you materials that you can see, things that are tangible, that make sense, then you got to be careful about the sensationalism that people are giving us. So I think that as long as we continue to believe the official narrative, we're going to continue to be at the mercy of other people. So I encourage you to continue to do your research. Continue to follow us on this channel. We're constantly running across more information. We're constantly digging into this whole history of how we got here and how we got to develop our own independence in this country. Because it is my belief that the majority of us were already here. And I'm finding that out more and more as I discover where I grew up at, my relatives, my research into my ancestry. I'm finding more and more pieces of the puzzle, and it's making more sense. So do continue to watch, like, share, and subscribe, and continue to support us. But anyway, thanks for watching. Do subscribe, continue to support, and we'll see you in the next video. And also continue to support us, and we have a Patreon channel. Well, we have a Patreon page. We have a channel. Well, we have a website that we sell products also. That's website is called Uniquely For You. We sell t-shirts, we sell hoodies, we sell body butters, we sell teas, we sell tinctures, So just go to our channel, uniquely for you, and check us out. All right, again, peace.